turning circle not that great.
That's not great.
This is the Alfa Romeo Stelvio Quadrifoglio. It's essentially the same chassis and drivetrain as the Giulia Quadrifoglio sports sedan. The same brilliant 500 horsepower motor, but in a slightly wider, taller, but not much roomier body, and the key difference being this one has all-wheel drive instead of rear-wheel drive, for which it pays a hefty 200 kilogram weight penalty. After a very enjoyable week, I'm just about to hand this car back, and I have to say, I will miss it. Not just the brilliant motor. This car has passion everywhere. The most pleasing thing to me about this car is that Alfa have managed to get a lot of things spot on that you don't usually expect Alfa to be good at, as you will see. I was expecting to make fun, as I tend to, at some of the quirky and confusing ways that Alfa does things. But no, not this time. This one's spot on. Now, recognising how important heritage is to Alfa buyers, to the Alfisti, it is actually an excellent blend of the old and the new. Modern tech that works well, easy to learn, it's intuitive, combined with classic Alfa dashboard and reminiscent of the best of the 60s and 70s design, which was, I think, their high point. Think of the Spider, the GTV. It feels special. And surprisingly, perhaps, really good ergonomics layout. So it's without the classic Italian long arms, short legs seating position. It's refreshing and safer not to have to rely on a massive centre screen to do anything. The centre screen here is quite modest. You can do just about everything you need through traditional controls. You've got rotary dials, levers and buttons, so you use muscle memory without having to look away from the road ahead. The focus is definitely on the driving here. And thankfully, it's devoid a lot of the gimmicks that manufacturers seem obliged to add to justify the price. So there's no fancy coloured lighting, no massage seats, no bling for bling's sake. For example, you don't get endless configurability of the options. In terms of drive mode, you just get 4. There's advanced efficiency, natural for normal driving, dynamic when you're feeling like pushing on, and race, which is not just for the track. There are a couple of shock absorber settings that range from firm to very, very, very firm, which is interesting because Alfas in the past have often had quite a bit of compliance in the suspension. This one doesn't. Look, it is lacking 1 or 2 things that you'd expect in this elevated price range, but we'll get to that. Nonetheless, to me, it seems to be the best of traditional Alfa, made modern, made fast, and it is very fast. It is a genuine competitor to fast all-wheel drive SUVs like, for example, the Macan GTS, which I so like, or the BMW X3M, or the Audi SQ7. And, well, yes, it is faster than all of those. But the question that I wanted to ask Mark is, can it be a genuine competitor to the Giulia or the M3 sports sedans? Now, as you know, Mark's natural habitat is the racetrack, and he likes his cars low. He likes his track cars usually so low that your bum's scraping on the ground. So he's no real fan of SUVs on the track, particularly all-wheel drive ones. But this car has track pretensions. So can I get him to like it? Can I get him to say it's an excellent performance car without having to add the obligatory for an SUV or for an all-wheel drive? He might take a little bit of convincing. So first impressions about the cabin.
Pretty impressive, isn't it, Stu? There's a lot to like. I really love the way Alfa get this retro aspect right. I mean, you couldn't sell a car these days without a full LCD dash, but they've still made it look old school, haven't they, with the pinnacles and it's the old sort of Valia style gauges, which look just fantastic. I'd be driving it on that all the time. I'd like to know how they came up with this, because it looks like it's straight out of a BMW. The iDrive, the gear lever looks exactly the same, and there's nothing wrong with that because it's all really good. But just sort of an interesting point, isn't it? But yeah, no, lots of like. The paddles are great. When we had the Tonale recently, you know, that was a feature of that car. They do get in the way slightly of the indicators and so on, but you sort of get used to those.
And they're steel. You're going to love that, mate. You're going to go straight into race mode. The thing is, race mode gives you the nice loud exhaust note, but it switches off most of the stability stuff. Right, so you lose your autonomous emergency braking, traction control. Do you mind?
Well, if you're paying attention, you don't need that stuff, right?
12-inch display here. I love the fact that you don't need a massive screen in the middle. They've integrated that really nicely, except for, I am a big fan of 360 cameras now, when lining up your car and particularly as this car, when you put in reverse, it doesn't dip the mirrors down, so it's actually quite hard to see.
So that's something this doesn't have. Maybe the size of the screen didn't allow.
I'm amazed, because Alfas typically the infotainment and electronics and stuff is haphazard or doesn't work very well.
Yeah.
Whereas it does work very well in this.
Yeah, absolutely.
Apple CarPlay, I just plug my phone in, connect it straight away, and it's fast.
Yeah.
It's faster than the native display. So, yeah, really good.
Yeah, no, that's impressive.
See, you've gone straight to CarPlay
Yep.
there. And so I can use Waze, I can use Siri.
Does anyone actually ever use Siri except you, Stu?
Everybody uses Siri.
Am I the only person that doesn't?
Well, you got an Android phone?
No.
Oh, you got an Apple?
Yeah.
You don't use Siri?
No.
Thing is, Siri can't control the car functions like...
Maybe it's me. I'll give him a control.
Yeah, some concessions for our ages. Oh, you're going to play my loud music.
What have you got?
Good stereo. And just Alpha symbol there, and you're back to the native Alpha stuff.
That is one of the better ones we've come across.
Yeah, it works really well.
Yeah. It's just called dry carbon fibre. Again, the same as you see in an M2 or M3. My old M2 used to have that. Looks great, I think.
The only options, some of the paint colours are expensive, like $4,000, and you can get Sparco carbon buckets for $8.5 grand.
Right, yeah.
So it's quite a lot.
Yeah.
But these seats are good.
Yeah. No, they're absolutely fine.
What else it doesn't have is seat cooling.
Oh.
Come on, I want to show you the motor. There's something exciting on the motor. One magnificent 2.9 litre V6 twin turbo.
Yeah.
People say it's the Ferrari motor that was around for so long with two cylinders chopped off. It's actually not. It's its own separate family of motor, but it's designed by the same guy to the same design. It's a 90-degree V6. It does have cylinder deactivation on the right bank, so if you're cruising, it'll cut out cylinders.
Okay. It's good. It's certainly set well back, isn't it, and way down. So they've done a good job on the positioning of the engine. There's no doubt about it. But
there's something obvious I'd like you to notice in
what's
here.
What's this thing, Stu? This bit of tin here.
I reckon somebody's gone, oh, it needs a strut brace. But look at it. Look at the ends.
Yeah, little 6mm bolts right there. Okay.
That's right. Tiny little M6 bolt there with a 10mm nut on it. And it's on a post.
Torsional rigidity, I don't know. Anyway.
Because the strut brace should mount to the top of the strut tower and be a great big stressed carbon fibre thing.
Yeah.
It's not going to do anything.
That looks good, Stu.
Yeah.
It seems a bit strange that they've left all this open up here, doesn't it? It looks like there's a plastic shield missing off that. You can reach your hand right down in the inner guard there. It's where all the leaves and dirt and stuff will get to rust. It's an Alpha, isn't it? I mean, but these new Alphas don't rust, so...
No, don't be so negative. But you're right, if this were a BMW or a Mercedes, it wouldn't look so unfinished around the outside, would it? No. But it's a pearl of a motor. You're gonna love the motor. It's when you're on it, oh boy, does it make a noise. Just
real
admire.
vents, not fake vents, Stu.
Notice it's not the same red as the last one we did, the Tonale.
I like this colour. It's Etna, isn't it?
Etna red, yeah.
Etna red?
Not Alpha red, yeah.
Yeah, I really like it.
Doesn't it look nice, folks? Matching calipers. Hey, it's got exhaust pipes. It's not electric.
Yeah, thankfully.
I knew you'd say that.
I know our electric cars have been getting good views, but people must be getting sick of them, Stu.
This is so delightfully old school, this car, isn't it? In so many ways.
Yeah, it is. Those wheels are amazing, aren't they, Stu?
And these aren't even the big ones. They're 20-inch.
Yeah.
And 21's an option, but honestly, don't bother.
That's all you need. They look great. I'm glad to see we don't have carbon ceramic rotors, as some of them do. Mm-hmm. Why the hell would you want those on this type of car?
Because it's a track car.
Yeah, well...
Think these won't do the job? I'm sure they will. Vented, drilled.
Yeah, they look good.
Big P0s, 255s at the front, 285s at the back.
45 series, so you've got, a reasonable profile, haven't you?
Yeah, 40s at the back, 255 45. 285 40s.
Okay, interesting.
Look, for an SUV, they've done the best they can. Yeah. They've tried to say, let's get the Giulia and just capture the spirit of the Giulia, which does look nice.
And it does look like that from the front. They've done a great job, and from the back it looks good. It's just that whole slab-sided
from the
mid-size
side
SUV that just looks like pretty much anything else.
Yes, beautiful, beautiful.
Apart from the wheels.
Just like could be a Mazda.
It could be, yeah.
And then come around the back and you go, oh, it's starting to look a bit better again with those exhaust pipes. Power tailgate. Decent amount of room. Oh, look at this mess somebody's left here. Sorry about that. Reasonable room. Unfortunately, as you'd imagine by now, no spare tyre.
Yeah.
Just a kit.
You don't need an app on your phone to fill this up, do you, Stu?
There's no app with it. Unlike BMW and Mercedes.
Yeah.
It says 95 octane. That's odd. We're going to need some petrol today, so we'll put 98 in. Look at that. Nice. Oh, well done, you found it. I couldn't find it yesterday.
Yeah, let's get rid of that.
Let's turn off the auto stop. Hey, you know, one of the best, you know how with these cars, the ADAS safety systems, as soon as you get in them, they all reset. You've got to turn everything off again. Guess what? This car remembers your settings, except for the driver distraction warning. That one you do have to turn off every time.
Oh, that's good.
You know, finally we've got a car that doesn't have a giant screen. Just a little 7-inch.
Yeah.
It doesn't need to be any bigger than that. And the reason it doesn't need to be bigger, you don't need to touch it, because everything you need's down here.
Yeah, you've got a lot of controls here, haven't you, which work really, really well, and it's so much better than having to touch the screen. It's so distracting with modern cars. To have this control here is a much better idea.
But importantly, you've got your muscle memory, so all the stuff you do need can do it all with your eyes closed.
Yeah.
Although, don't close your eyes, but
That's the whole idea, isn't it?
But it's appropriate that it's blood coloured, because Italian car buyers, to generalise about nationalities, you're either an Alfa, Ferrari, Fiat person or you're not. We could say, oh, you could buy this or buy an X3M BMW or a C63 GLS. A lot of people go, no, I'm an Italian car guy, I don't want a German car.
Yeah, that's fair enough. We're on mid-damper race. I think that's probably the best
So
set.
that's the right combination. You like the race mode?
Yeah. Doesn't have a very good turning circle, does it? I don't think it really matters much.
No. It's your race mode.
Yep.
There we go. You've got a proper display now. So where you go? Do you want to go manual as well?
That's really responsive when you go into race mode there, isn't it?
And it's starting to make all the right noises.
It does make all the right noises, doesn't it? Very responsive. I like that display in race mode. A little bit of just a little lag right at the start of the throttle, isn't there? But mid-range is huge. It comes up with so much torque.
Red line 7.4, and it gets up there so quickly.
It does get up there quickly, doesn't it? Just a little lag. Just initially, it's so small though that
That's part of the excitement of a petrol car.
Yeah.
Having that lag. How are the stoppers?
Pretty good. You'd expect them to be good, wouldn't you, with the brakes the size that they are on this car?
You're pinging that limiter a bit.
Yeah, I'm a bit, aren't I?
It gets away from you, doesn't it?
It does. It gets up there really quick.
Suddenly the ride doesn't seem so bad. I thought it would be much choppier down here, but once you get a bit of a go on...
Yeah, look, and that road is actually quite smooth through there as well.
They're not harsh bumps, it sort of rolls and dips. But it actually does a better job than I thought it would.
No, it's not bad.
It
hangs on really well, doesn't it?
Well, it'd want to.
The front of the car is superb. Like, you'd expect to be getting a little bit of push through there, wouldn't you? But it really does hang on well.
It's appropriately growly in the mid-range. It's still a V6. V6 isn't quite a V8 in terms of tone. They're notorious for not sounding that great, but it's good, isn't it?
Yeah, that sounds great. Steering has a really, really good feel to it. Potentially a little on the light side, but it really gives you a lot of feedback.
It has changed the steering weight. That is meant to be stiffer.
Yeah, it's not that much stiffer though, is it?
No.
To be honest.
Certainly it's too light in normal mode. Second, okay. Little bit late. It really only comes on about 4,000.
It does. It's a little doughy down low.
Yeah.
But then it really does come on strong.
We've been driving too many all-wheel drive EVs lately because, you're just used to just touching it and you get maximum torque straight away. The ride's actually better. I thought this would be terrible along here, but
not too
it's
bad.
good.
Well, that's we're in race mode.
just a Giulia that's just very slightly higher, but with the advantage of all-wheel drive? Do you think? Is it as good as a Giulia?
For me, no. It doesn't look as good. It doesn't perform quite as well in terms of just dynamics.
Really?
The whole sitting higher thing, that's just a personal preference thing. I just don't really like it.
But they've really tried to make a car that is the same as the Giulia in terms of
I
performance.
suppose the question is, why would you buy this over a Giulia? But does it have that much more room in it? Not really.
No.
I like the dynamic of just rear-wheel drive.
Okay, so the fact that it's all-wheel drive isn't a plus for you.
Yeah.
It's slightly quicker, because of the extra grip.
Yeah, it's a little quicker on acceleration, isn't it?
But it's totally academic. They're both sub 4-second cars, so ridiculously quick for a petrol car.
So that's on race mode, mid-damper. I think that's a really good setting, actually. Just sort of takes the harshness out of the shock. It does sound good, doesn't it, on the upshift? I think we've found a sweet spot on the handling setup, Stu.
Yep.
Certainly there. That's probably where you want your all-wheel drive happening. It's very sure-footed. I mean, I'm in race mode there, so stability control's actually off, traction control's off. There's no hint of it breaking loose, is it? So traction is really very, very good. So
Slightly smoother corner.
that is pretty impressive, Stu.
That gear change on the up change at full throttle.
They've tuned that just nicely to give you that crack on the upshift.
It's like getting two blocks of 4x2 and going bang beside your head. It's loud.
But it's a fun car, isn't it, Stu? I mean, I really like it.
Really liking it and being a genuine competitor to an M3 or a...
It's not a genuine competitor to an M3 in my view.
No.
I think the Giulia is, the Giulia Quadrifoglio.
Oh gee, you're going to get the people at Alfa upset now, because maybe we need to get you to take it on the track so you can actually see what it can really do with these.
I think that's where you really see what sort of body roll it has, Stu.
Look, if you've got Italian blood in your veins and you've got a trophy Ferrari at home, an old Dino or a Testarossa or something, and the kids are driving an Abarth or a Bambino or something, and you need something for the family to drive.
Sorry, Stu.
Don't apologise.
Just wanted to give it a little bit of a go through there, and obviously we've got DSC and everything off, and you just felt just break loose into a little bit of wheel spin off that front tyre, actually.
Okay.
But at the end of the day, this is an SUV style vehicle. I don't see how it can be an M3 competitor.
Seating position good?
The ergonomics are great. Seating position good. Steering wheel position is great. All the adjustments are really good. You sort of expect Alfa to get that right. They're a company with a real performance heritage.
Appeal to their core.
Yeah, I mean, we've been used to driving funky EVs lately, which are just, like from another planet, really, in terms of the way they're laid out, the way they look and everything else. It's actually nice to get into a car that has a nod to the heritage of the brand.
After you've been with the car a few days, everything just falls
It's quite intuitive, isn't it?
Yeah.
You're not mucking around with the screen all the time. It's so distracting, and you're seeing so many car crashes occurring on the road when people are playing around with screens. It's as bad as talking on your phone. You can just go to the controls down here, and I don't need to look down. It just makes a huge...
Plus I've got Siri, so I can go, "Hi Siri, can you hear me, Siri?"
I respect your privacy and only listen when you're talking to me. You can learn about Apple's approach to privacy on apple.com.
Bullshit. Respect your privacy. They're fucking listening all the time.
There's even a little coin tray here for you to put your bridge tolls in that you don't have anymore.
No one has anymore.
And look, a cigarette lighter. Okay, it's made of plastic, but at least they gave you a 12-volt socket. It's not a cigarette lighter. How come we have an Italian car without an ashtray?
It's un-Italian.
CarPlay. Thank you. And the rotary dial works with CarPlay as well. Start Waze. Car stopped. Whatever.
Hey Stuart, how can I help?
Navigate to Jenolan Caves using Waze.
Getting directions to Jenolan Caves using Waze.
Anyone that likes driving, anyone that is a car enthusiast, I don't think you would buy this if you weren't a car enthusiast. There are a lot of Alfa enthusiasts out there. For me personally, I just have a Giulia. I don't like sitting up this high off the road.
Okay.
But I really do realise I'm in the minority of people here, so...
I'd love to take it on the track and see what it can actually do. You think it doesn't roll, it sits really flat, it's on massive tyres. It should be quite a track weapon. It's 1830 kilos, it's not a heavy car.
I think you'd find if it was slipping into all-wheel drive on the track, it'd be a negative. Certainly on some of the windy, twisty roads we've been on today, that all-wheel drive feature is a positive, as we've noticed through some of the twisty roads. If you were to put it on a track, I think that'd just push you into a bit of understeer and you'd have to be off the throttle.
It's actually been much better on these roads than I expected, because driving around town at low speed, it was so pitchy on the throttle and so harsh. It's actually, the faster you go, the better it gets, it seems.
I think so, yeah. We're only doing 90 kilometres an hour here, but it's riding pretty well, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think we've found the sweet spot with settings. If you go to your damper setting and adjust it, really does help the overall ride.
To be critical, the only things it really lacks, I do like cool seats. A car of this price, it'd be nice. There's no head-up display. The mirrors don't dip down when you reverse, and combined with the lack of the 360 camera, that's a bit of an annoyance. I'm not a sunroof person, but a moonroof would be nice because it's so dark in here.
To be honest, from a driving point of view, it's actually hard to find any negatives with this car. It's been really impressive all day, I think.
I think this car is all about the motor. You know, like a GT3 is all about the motor.
Yeah.
And this is a motor that's quite sedate. That could be a Camry sitting up front when you're just cruising like this. It's a pleasant little V6. The power output in this motor, only being 2.9 litres, it's 129 kilowatts per litre.
That's pretty impressive.
It's massive. Remember when 100 kilowatts per litre, that was a huge milestone. This is 129, so it's a great engine. 4 valves per cylinder, dual overhead cams, single scroll turbos either side, running 20 pound boost, 1.4 bar, so plenty of boost, and a massive 500 horsepower, 375 kilowatt, 600 newton meters.
It really does, from mid-range to top end, the engine spins up so quickly.
But your favourite mode was race mode, but with the dampers set back to the mid setting.
Yeah.
So in race mode you've got hard damper or mid. In dynamic mode you've got mid or soft. And then in the other modes you've got soft.
It's a good adjustment to have. It just takes the harshness out of the damper. Certainly gets up there quickly, doesn't it?
Yeah. It's got soul, hasn't it? It really does.
Yeah, it does. It's really got that Alfa DNA.
So really, to me, the competitor's the Macan. Now, Porsche hasn't fulfilled its promise. They said the Macan was going to be fully electric. Only they've got 4 electric models, but they've also got 4 petrol models.
Yeah, that's a lot.
So the GTS would be a competitor to this. It's actually marginally cheaper than this car, and we know what a good car that is. It's got the German DNA. This has got the Italian DNA.
Yeah.
But they're very comparable cars. This is actually faster. Would you take a Macan on the racetrack?
I wouldn't personally.
That's your natural anti-SUV prejudice coming in there.
Well, I've been on the track and seen people with Macans come in with brakes frying like you wouldn't believe and completely screwed tyres.
Do you think this car would be the same? This has got...
I think it'd be similar, yeah.
Do you?
You know, I'm not so sure. On public roads we, and you, can't begin to explore its capability, and I think we might be selling this beast of a car a little short. But the Nürburgring is the ultimate benchmark for road cars. A BMW M2 F87 can't break 8 minutes at the Nürburgring. You need an M2 competition to do a 752. This SUV did a 751 on the same Pirelli tyres we have today, with nothing more than a roll cage and with the OEM carbon brakes and the Sparco seat options. And just look at the company it's in. For a road car, this thing is a weapon. Now, Stellantis doesn't allow us to take press cars to the track, but hey, if you change your mind, guys, we'd love to.
we're on the speed limit here.
Yep.
But
Dead kangaroo.
there's corners that we should probably be doing 60 around that we're doing 100 around. We're still on the speed limit, but it's just performing really nicely. The feel of the steering is superb. A lot of feedback. I'm not noticing much as we go through the different settings, even from race to dynamic to normal. I'm not noticing much difference with the feel. You can certainly feel vast differences in performance, throttle mapping and so on. But the steering is great in all those modes.
So you really can't fault the whole ergonomics from a race driver viewpoint, can you? The seating position, it goes low enough.
Yeah.
You've got your lumbar support, you've got lateral support. Hands on the wheel look really good. We haven't done an emergency stop.
And that's pretty quick, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's got a hell of a set of brakes on it though, hasn't it? Like up to 100 k's an hour pretty quickly. That's good. We know it accelerates fast and it stops really well, so you know what more can you say? There's the demonstration. The ABS, superb, calibrated really well. A hell of a set of brakes on it.
Nice one. Hey Siri, how did you like that fast driving?
I rather enjoy what I'm doing right now.
Yeah, I thought so. We did too.
Territory.
So even Siri enjoys your driving.
There you go. Maybe I better start using Siri.
You should. Sorry Siri, I know I'm talking about you. Stop listening, please. Okay, that's great, Mark. So that's the verdict. Here's our score on the car. Even though Mark's got an anti-SUV prejudice.
Would I buy one? You know, I was chatting to my mate Craig, and he's the customer, isn't he?
Yeah.
A man who's has a couple of Ferraris in Europe, has one or two here in Australia. He does have Fiats.
Yep.
He does have Alfas, so he loves his Italian car.
Did you sell it to him?
Yeah, I just told him we were driving, and he said, "Oh, that's the car I've been. If I were ever to get a car, you know, a larger family-style car, that would be it. There's your customer right there. They are out there, Stu."
They're not that thick on the ground, but they're out there.
No, yeah.
But you need Etna red Italian blood flowing through your veins, really. You'd probably be a bit swayed by the servicing costs, because this car has got fixed price servicing costs, and they're pretty expensive.
Yeah.
Like the 5-year servicing costs are just under $7,000.
So Stu, you know, just thinking about this car a little more, it's super impressive. I mean, I know I'm very prejudiced about SUVs in general, but this car really ticks so many boxes, doesn't it? I mean, I think I would prefer the Giulia if you said, which one do you want, one or the other?
You've lost some of your anti-SUV prejudice.
Yeah, I have, yeah. In regard to this car. Not generally speaking.
Okay.
So, you know, well done, Alfa. You
got it right.
have got it right with this car, there's no doubt about it. You can feel the DNA of Alfa in this car all round, even though it is sitting up ridiculously high.
It's not that high.
It is. For me, it is.
For you it is, but for anyone getting out of a Ford Ranger, they'll feel like they're down in an MX-5 when they get into this thing.
Well done, Alfa. Good job.
Right, thanks for watching. Look, the most pleasing thing to me about this car is that Alfa Romeo managed to get a whole lot of things spot on that you don't usually expect Alfas to be good at. Excellent ergonomics and a logical, easy to learn controls operation and a great seating position. They've managed to combine the heart of a true Alfa with modern tech in a way that's seamless and easy to use. Thanks for watching. Next week's car almost certainly won't be this exciting or expensive. It'll probably have a huge centre screen to distract you from your driving. Or maybe not. To find out, maybe you'd like to subscribe. So thanks for watching and all the wonderful things you are. It's been emotional. So we've lost focus. Mark's not thinking about the Alfa anymore. I've just had my big burger and a milkshake. We rate the milkshakes here, they're pretty good. And Mark's just spent the last 40 minutes or so on the phone. He's busy organising, would you believe, test days next week in the UK for drivers in GB3 and Formula 4 and even the F1 Academy, trying to swing it right now. So he's doing deals over there when he should be focusing on the Alfa. Oh hey, you made it right through to the end of the video. Congratulations. Thank you for watching. If you like what you see, Please share it with your motoring friends, and above all, click the little subscribe thing down here so you can see the latest videos when we bring them out, hopefully each week. I look forward to seeing you soon.